You better be careful.
Oh, they're standing outside, I got my computer fixed. Why was you standing there, dude?
I asked you, he said no.
Second time, no, no, first time. Second time we were done with our meeting with the rest, so we just got the lead over a little bit. They ever figured out what it was?
Yes.
They tear up my cameras. See the raccoons got in there, whatever.
Alright, it's 3 o'clock. I'll call the Land Forestry Committee meeting to order. First on the agenda is approval of the minutes from June 18th, 2024. Can you read those over?
Approval.
Got a motion by Phil to approve the minutes. You got a second? Second. Second by Stacy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is public comment, and it's limited to 3 minutes per person. If anybody has anything to say, go ahead and state your name and.
Representing the Blue Hills Trail Association, there's a couple of late additions to your packet that I think is in print, but not in the online packet. And I think to summarize what we're trying to get across here is that one of the documents outlines all the different options that we see as possibilities for the wintertime use of Excelsior Road. Everything from no skiing on it to only skiing on it. And then the other, with lots of, I don't know, 5 or 6 other options in between. And then the other document is our President Jenna Waldron's way of expressing the fact that this has been frustrating for us, it's been frustrating for the committee here, coming back month after month after month for 4 or 5 months or more. And at this point, there isn't a good alternative to the current use, the way it's been established, where the sharing is, again, between ATVs, UTVs, snowmobiles, and skiers. And so at this point, we're still exploring the option of some type of a parallel trail, either close to Excelsior or further off in the woods. But we're hoping that you would just table any action on Excelsior Road until we have a chance to get in there when the leaves are down this fall and get a chance to look around and see if there is some other route that would be financially doable and physically doable.
Thank you.
I don't know if you, I think I summarized.
Anybody else wish to speak in public comment?
Jay Waltz, I want to talk to you guys about the appointment of the ad hoc public trails committee members. I'm not sure how many people have applied. I'm sure there's been some push to, being we have 3 people with the same last name on there, to offload one or both of those and try to make it more, spread out. I'll just tell you, both of those guys were on here at the original ad hoc where we tried to save some of this opening, and they've done a bunch of work in helping and look at a bunch of this stuff. So if you do feel the need to find someone new, I would hope that that person is really willing to go out there and do a bunch of work like these guys have done. That's inspecting culvert pictures, all this stuff that these other guys have done, sign placement. I hope those people are prepared, if they do it, to go help the forestry department and you guys get this straightened out. I mean, if you do feel the need to offload one of those guys, because of public pressure and things we've heard here in the past, that you would make sure that that person who you do, exchange them out for is willing to do some work. And as long as we're on this, the Excelsior Road, Tom and John, I've become to like these guys quite a bit. But we had a meeting with Dane and Jared and Rod and I and them. And when we brought this up to, my understanding was they were willing to give up Excelsior Road if they could keep Johns Creek Road just the way it was. That's how this all came about, if I understand it right, and the way I remember it. And everyone's confirmed that that's the way they remember it to me. So, you know, we keep going back to it because someone's changed their mind. And everyone has that right, but that's the way it happened.
Okay, anybody else?
Rod Elwanger. Yesterday, Dane, Bob, and myself went over to Excelsior Road, and we did some exploring on some of those trails, looking for an alternative route. And, I know Dane is Dane gonna be here? Okay, cause he was gonna write up something, and, you know, I was hoping he would do that and present it to you guys, but, you know, maybe we're not in a big hurry to do anything there, but, I guess to make a long story short, we feel that there could be some alternative routes to hook up some of those other trails and just get that ski trail completely off Excelsior Road. The thing that I really noticed, cause I don't get over there, that's not my neck of the woods, but one thing I really noticed with Excelsior Road, you know, we've been talking about, and right now it's supposed to be split half and half. That road maybe was 16 feet wide at one point in time, but it's not 16 feet wide anymore. And in my mind, there's absolutely no way you can split that half and half. If the ski club goes down there, is your groomer 8 feet, I believe it is?
9.
9, that's gonna be at least 2/3 of the road there in most places. So, I mean, it might sound good on paper, but I do not see that option working really, so. And I know Jay had thrown out going alongside basically Excelsior Road, you know, bringing a bulldozer, making another trail, kind of alongside where you can, and actually that, to me, looks very feasible. So, you know, I think we got some options there that we really need to look at.
Okay, anybody else?
Don Ansky. Couple questions on the new ATV trail, what's the process, or taking bids on that or anything? And the other one is the Drum Road, is it being grading, as well as Shirley Road needs brushing. So it should really take over there.
Anybody else? Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Bob Brunseth, again, yesterday, Rod and Dane and I, and then talking with Tom out here in the hall before we came in, I echo what he's saying about, we need to put this off until fall, when we can get in there with no foliage. Some of the trail that we had covered goes back to December of 22 with all of the wet, heavy snow and how everything is just down in the tangle. And with everything green, it's really a tangle. But I can also say, if you want some raspberries, I would go up there because, you cook the big berries all day, rock babies, not eating them.
Put in the minutes that Bob will pick berries for anybody.
Yeah, don't tell them about the rest.
Anybody else speaking public comment? Anybody else? Okay, if not, then public comment is closed. Go on to the monthly reports. Parks and Rec, I was gonna share your.
Got a report from Mike Zimmer. First of all, I think you guys all know Pat Zimmer sitting in for Derek Jockinson.
Did he have to give his brother's report?
I don't know if he's qualified.
No. About my pay grade.
We recently applied for grant funding for the Joseph Creek Rifle Range to relocate, pave the entrance road and pave the parking lot. Erosion has been an issue after heavy rain events. The entrance road is steep and vehicles oftentimes spin their tires, making the climb up the hill to the range. Paving these surfaces should solve the problem and reduce maintenance costs. Grant amount applied for is approximately $30,000. The 25% cost share is required for this grant.
We expect we will get that grant.
I'm pretty optimistic. It's always a mystery, but I'm fairly optimistic. I don't know why I am. I talked to the lady a couple of different times on the phone, some simple questions. Buttered her up a little bit.
Just keep smooth up.
Kramer Well Drilling has been contacted to repair 2 hand pumps. These pumps are located at the Murphy Flowage picnic area in the Bucks Lake ATV trailhead. Water flow from these pumps is poor to none at this point. Highway Department will be bidding out the gravel crushing for the Bucks Lake ATV trail project. This gravel is to be crushed at the Murphy pit by November 1st, so that hauling may begin as soon as the ground freezes. This is for the newest ATV trail. 8,800 cubic yards of primary. 8,800 cubic yards of 1.25 inch crushed. Removing trees from the Bucks Lake ATV trail has begun. Still waiting on needed wetland delineation. CWI is preparing to resume work on the Weirgore 100-foot ATV bridge this week. This work includes additional welding and sandblasting, painting the bridge if the weather cooperates. Footings will be installed next week, with the bridge to be placed soon. That concludes Mike's report.
Okay, any questions?
Alex, maybe you ought to bring up what you brought up previous meeting about community park, get it in, or you talked to him already?
Yeah, I would be, I guess I would, advise to start with Mike on that, and then maybe bring that back to committee.
So it gets brought up.
Possible swimming area to get the kids off the docks in case for safety reasons.
Yeah. That's actually against ordinance to swim at whole but it's never really been enforced.
And it's easier for people to follow the rules if you have an
Yeah.
easy path with it.
That was talked about years ago there. Could rehash that.
Okay, anything else on Parks and Rec report? Questions? Not, jump down to timber sales report.
Timber sales report from Dane Gravison. These things are picking up a little bit now that oak-wood restrictions are off. Fuel sales are getting going, and we should get busy as weather allows with road closeout work as well. Futurewood finished cutting and forwarding on the No Bear sale on Excelsior Road. A little bit of wood left to haul there. JW Logging almost done with the Hemlock Creek lump sum coppice sale off the end of 3 Lakes Road. That one is where the new ATV trail will be built. Finished cutting and forwarding on Yellow Perch sale south of Perch Lake Road. Some hauling and road work to do in there. Looks good. Had a pre-sale meeting and they started cutting on the Summertime Blues overstore removal off the end of Euchre Road. Starting road work on the Batman sale north of Betty Lake Road. Lionel Klein had a pre-sale with Klein's on their new slot sale. Waiting on a stream crossing permit. Once we have that permit, they will get it there. Should be another month before we get that permit back. Because it will be a individual permit rather than a general permit. So there's a 30-day public notice. Because it's a trout stream. And that's it.
Okay, any questions on the timber sales report? Not, jump down to the administrator's report, again, Jared.
Administrator's report. We got the final DNR time standards hours from the state of Wisconsin. That runs on their fiscal year, July through June. Their promise to us is 2,129 hours. They worked 2,245.75, 116 3/4 of hour over expected, which is 5.48%. So, a big thanks to Pat for allowing Derek to go above and beyond.
So we were budgeted 2,190 hours last time too,
2,129, or what,
2,129.
I think it should be the same this year.
So the budgeted hours didn't really change, it's just you went over.
Yep. It's not like, it's not an expense.
So those hours are allocated for each county for
Allocated
Yep.
hours, would be better term than budgeted, I guess.
Right.
The DNR is the budgeted hour though.
Yes, yep, we're work planned for, and those get reassessed every 5 years. So I think we've got at least 1 or 2 more years under this number, and then they'll reassess, and number will either go up or down.
Yeah, the recent assessments, we lost hours. There's a set, I think it's a set max statewide, isn't it, Pat? Time
Yeah.
standard hours that goes to all the county forests, and then there's a really complicated formula that you gotta go through with different tasks and jobs that they do for each county. And then they come up with a breakdown, and each county gets a percentage of the hours.
It's prorated based on the total cap of like 42 or 46,000 hours total statewide.
One of the things WCFA and Phil can attest to this has been working on for years is to try to lift that cap, increase hours that counties can get from the state. But you guys know what it's like to increase man hours, it's not cheap. But hopefully we can maintain what we have or maybe get a little more. Oh, I got a special note here. Derek is a valuable asset for the county. Summer tour in Lincoln County went well. Big Phil and Little Phil were both there. We looked at the Thorogood Boot Factory, Weinbrenner shoes. It was kinda neat seeing the leather working in there. Some of the antique machinery. Actually antique, incredible stuff. Merrill Tool and Water Jet, they build, skid steer tractor attachments as well as, I just think they do job work for other companies. The LeMay Center, which is DNR office and shop in Tomahawk, where they do all the manufacturing of fire equipment for their trucks and dozers. And I think they had 4 or 5 brand new Cat D, the D3s. Whatever they were, brand new dozers in there, outfitting them with the water tanks and everything they do with them to get them ready for wildland firefighting.
I think there was even more than that. I thought it counted 6 or 7.
Yeah, maybe it was 6. I don't count too well. I had no idea that they manufactured all that stuff. Pretty cool.
But I had to ask the one guy on it, cause there was a chain hanging on the back end. I said, nobody gets stuck with these, and he goes, yeah, we never had a chain there before, so if you get stuck, everybody's running around to try and find a chain, so now they hook it right on the back of the cast, so it's ready to go, which means they kick a little bit.
Expensive machine. We looked at a little gravel pit on the county forest. A small wildlife dam, and at that dam, we talked, they had some speakers about possibilities of abandoning some of those small dams that don't have a lot of value, and potentially a lot of cost to rebuild them or upkeep them at this point. Just by the talk, I think they're gonna be abandoning that dam and removing it in the near future. We have beaver ponds bigger than that lake, so can rely on the wildlife to provide the same benefits that the there are no dam requirements for beaver, they don't have to adhere to any regulations.
Then we pay to build the dam, then we pay to get rid of the beavers that they're building.
Pass along.
Keep them in line. There was a drone demonstration, they had some large drone there for spraying crops. Potentially to be used for forest management stuff, site prep for plantations and stuff. I think their bigger drone would be like a 220-pound loaded drone. Pretty cool, 6 propeller. Hopping on there. I don't think that would have been too good of an idea.
Maybe spraying water when we did that, not something else.
Yeah, they went up and sprayed some stuff. They rinsed their tank really good. And doused us with Roundup or something. That's about all I got for the summer tour. You guys got anything else to add? Feel free. Moving on, worked on Hatch Landing property stuff. Apparently Onyx Hunt has some bad info down there on a 69-acre life estate that we're part owners of. It's still owned partially by some private individuals, so it's a really weird deal messing with that. I worked on the budget quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. Jamie's been very helpful with that. Mike and I met with Emily Van Doren at the highway department, worked out some work planning for the next couple of months here this summer. We have a fair bit of projects for them to work on, so hopefully, I don't think her time there is too long, she's leaving. Hopefully the new guy can be as helpful as she has been. I'm sure they will. Audit prep, more audit prep again, that's constant here until it's done. Again, the audit will be on August 7th, you guys are free to join that. Excursion will travel, I think we'll start at 8. If you wanna come, I can get you more details, but I think they'll be at our office at 8 o'clock on the 7th. And we'll travel to the Blue Hills and all the way across to the east side of the county as well. I think 8 timber sale stops are required.
If more than, anybody that plans to go for the audit should let Jared know ahead of time, cause if we need to post something, if we happen to have a forum there, we should at least post that there may be a forum, we're not gonna be, directing any business, but, we cover ourselves.
I know at this point, I'm open to go, so, what anybody else.
Easy.
I'm trying to work it into my schedule, yes.
And I'm
It'd be good.
looking at working into my schedule too, so.
So it's an all-day thing, if you can only get there half a day, that's pretty cool too. Join for the morning and then bust out of there whenever you're going to, whatever. I'll have a pre-audit meeting, not pre-audit, there's a pre-audit meeting a week or two before. The week of, I'll go to a kickoff meeting in Tomahawk, assuming you approve that travel later, as well as the closing meeting in Tomahawk. I think those are in Tomahawk. It's a big week, the other counties will be, I think we're split with Price County, so they'll be audited the same day. Oneida and Violet's, I believe, are Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah, lots of stuff there, Jake Walsasak, the Forest Certification Specialist, DNR. He's new to that position, but he's been really good so far he's been excellent, in my opinion. He has a meeting with the audit company tomorrow to try to get the required stops lowered, just for time constraints. Hopefully we only have to stop at 5, but for now, we need to stop at 8, so. Might not be done till 8 p.m. Just for your information, we do have the county forest roads on a rotation for brushing. It's a 3 or 5-year rotation to try to keep those in order, and we do get out of hand. Usually the highway department take care of that for us. Questions?
questions? We'll go on to the public trail committee report.
On July 8th, we had our meeting, we discussed a ton of stuff. It was very lively, I might add. We discussed just making some trails ATV and how to get around that. Dane was here and he was quite helpful, or to go with that. Trying to figure out, because if I've been looking on the internet, and there's people coming to the county.
Joe, when you say just ATV, you mean instead of ATV,
UTV. Yeah, we discussed some things, I've been on the internet looking at some things on Facebook, and there's clusters of these people that are coming county to county to county, and trying to figure out how we can stop them from basically doing what happens when too many people come. We discussed Excelsior Road, Johns Creek Road, we discussed the trail conditions, some more signs putting up with Dane, finishing up the trail inspection form, and Rod has been re-inspecting trails that need to be done every 3 or 5 years, although that's just what we're told, we haven't seen that in writing yet, but he's been starting on some of those, and as of this point, we've not had another trail, recommendation, from the public, but I think that as they, especially in the Blue Hills, are finding, thanks to, Nick's situation with a lot of open trails, there's people fairly pleased with that plan that he came up with and that you guys accepted, I think, so. That's where we're at with that. We have another meeting on Tuesday, that's this meeting. I wrote it down. August 12th, there it is, it's off the side of the page. Yeah.
Any questions? If not, we'll move on down to appointment of ad hoc public trail committee members. So we have 2 openings, and you gave us this, Brent one. Enjoying all kinds of stuff like hiking, camping, skiing, snowshoeing, hunting, fishing. As, we also got a notice of surf before. They're all good applications.
But do you have the resolution there to create the committee?
Feel like making a motion on two of these?
Wanna do them both at the same time, or you wanna do them one at a time?
We can do one at a time. That way, if there's discussion on one applicant versus another, we can have that, discussion without, that's not the whole motion. Well,
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve Russ Ellinger.
okay, we have a motion to appoint Ross Ellinger, for one of the positions. We have a second. By Alec. Any discussion on that? Ross has done an excellent job as far as I can tell. Spent a lot of time out there, has experience on that. We don't have any further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I've served with Lisa on the county board, and she was big on tourism, all tourism, from ATVs to the berry pickers, everybody else.
What's that?
Lisa.
Lisa.
Dombrowski.
Oh, okay.
She's very serious about her business basis on it for the number of rentals she has. She has to keep the people coming here and things keeping them going, so she's on the pulse of it. I'd really like to see her on there somewhere.
So this motion is for Ross. You could make that motion as a motion for the next person. Because we're doing them separately.
Okay. Because personally, I think we need to go on this a little bit farther. Right now, all we have is discussion on ATV trails, and nothing against Ross or Rod. And hopefully regardless of what happens, they will still stay active with the Trails Association. Yeah. Just like George, George is always a constant one for the ATV trails, and does this stuff, so. So anyhow, you say you wanna just vote on those two first, or?
So the motion was to appoint Ross.
Okay.
As we were just discussing, should we make a motion for both people at once or just one? Nobody had an opinion, so we decided to go with one, so we could discuss the individual each. And then we could make a motion for the second, but to your point, I absolutely agree, we're definitely looking for, people with diverse types that are looking for, all user groups to be able to use the forest. But I do think that Ross has done an excellent job myself.
I'm not saying he hasn't.
Any more discussion on that? On a motion on the table? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no.
No.
You say aye. Okay, motion carries. So now we can entertain a motion for one more person on the committee.
I'll make a motion to put Lisa on it.
Okay, so we got a motion to put, Lisa Browski with Phil Snyder. We have a second. We have a second to appoint Lisa Dabrowski to the Public Trails Ad Hoc Committee. We have a second. Not. Lisa applied for a second. Anybody else wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for Brett, whatever his name is then.
Brett Fagerlund. There's a motion by Phil to appoint Brett Fagerlund to the Public Trails Ad Hoc Committee. Do we have a second? Do we have any seconds? We will appoint somebody. Anybody care to make a second?
I'll second.
Stacy? Okay, any discussion on the motion on hand to appoint Brent Fagerlund to the Public Trails Ad Hoc Committee? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, so we have remember one reappointed position and another person. Okay, on to the next trail recommendations. And did you say there was no trail recommendations from
We've
you?
just been going over the ones that have already been, inspected, so there's none new. Like I said, I think people are starting to see, now that the green arrows and the green diamonds or the green diamonds are coming up, that they're pretty pleased with the way that map was set up, that took a year to do, you know.
Things take time. Jared, you got anything? Okay. Then if we got, no trail recommendations, then on to Excelsior Road access.
I'm going to make a motion that we postpone any decision on Excelsior Road until this fall.
We got a motion by Stacy to postpone any decision on Excelsior Road till this fall. We have a second. Second by Al Hampton. Any more discussion on that? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. On to the 2025 budget development. Jared.
So you guys have the printed budget materials. Not a lot of real change. Notable one would be the forestry timber sales expense, on the first page. 2024 appropriation was 17,200. the 2025 request is 44,521. So historically, we would get a zero interest loan from the state of Wisconsin to use for these types of expenses. That is on the following page.
You said that was, line 217?
That's correct. So yearly, we would get approximately 44,521 for qualifying expenses through that loan, and that would just get paid off with our timber sale revenue. I think 20% will go toward that, starting right away in January to just pay that off. So it was kind of just a circle of money. The board decided for 2023, and I think going onward, that we would not get that loan, we would just budget for it, and then we'd eliminate the paperwork.
And the problem with a loan, even though it's interest free, is now you're tying yourself to specifically, if an emergency came up somewhere else, now you're tied to the terms of whatever that interest free loan was. So I do agree with you that it's probably
Yeah.
the budget for that.
Great, so that's why you see the increase for 2024 on that line, because there will no longer, assuming we get it all spent this year, there will no longer be any in that carry forward account. So the budget carry forward amount for this year was 27,342 plus the 17,288. Equals something close to the 44,621. So that makes sense.
And that's the one you're looking for this continuing appropriation.
Yeah. Yeah, so with that, well, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
So moving down, I think I made a few, maybe some minor changes, pretty much left in the same. Travel and insurance, I increased 5,000 to 25 for next year. You guys know everything's going up with price, and our budget's been staying the same or going down. At some point, we're gonna be running low, conventions and dues, I think, increased stuff that you're gonna make.
So if you increase it by 50% this year, we'll add a little bit.
I promise we won't. Conventions and dues, we've gone over that in the past, so I increase that, we don't really. Moving down, more that are the same. Equipment, I added 10,000 to that equipment line. 5,000 was for 2024. 15,000 for 2025. That's an addition of 10,000 for a Trimble GPS unit. Part of the CIP. If you're so gracious as to approve that, we can replace our outdated GPS unit that we use for establishing timber sale cutting boundaries near property line. Not sure how much detail you want me to talk about on this. Revenue, I think, we're at the same thing, I believe, 2025.
Figure a little bit less based on the market, because, I guess appropriation is still the same as 2024.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you think that's still doable during current market conditions?
I think so. Ask me in a year. We failed to sell a handful of sales, market's not good. We have enough on the books, that sold previously, they're aging, that need to get cut. I think we're still safe to
We see on sale, sold sale show about 4 years from now. 4 years from now, where the revenue would go down.
Yeah, a lot of the sales that are getting cut now are 2 to 4 years old. Severance tax.
Is that what you pay the townships?
Yeah, 10% as a state mandate. We have to give 10% of the timber sale revenues that have county forest in them. And then it's prorated to each township based on the percent of our county forest that's in that township. There's a formula.
So it doesn't matter what's cut for the year, if it's cut in the town, you just take the whole.
Yep.
Whatever the stumpage revenue is.
Yep.
And then you divide it out by whatever percentage of township is managed, land.
Yeah. So like a couple of them, Widows, Wilson and Murray have a high percentage of county forest in their township, so they get big checks. But if we get zero revenue on timber sales, we pay zero. We get 5 million record revenue, they get a boost as well. Some counties actually pay more, because they opted to do so to help their townships. Some do 15%, which if you guys feel like doing that, I'm not against it. I don't know how much the county needs to make.
If we get one of those $5 million years, well, that's, if we can't find places to spend it. Pretty sure there's plenty of other things on that CIP fund. Probably eat that up pretty fast.
So is your gross stumpage again, just even though it's blank, is that $1 million then gonna be in there, or?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the right column, it says on the top, market request for 25. I have $1 million in there. Should be filled in on your sheet.
You're probably looking at the proposed by finance.
So, yeah, that's final approved by county board.
Right.
I'll have a meeting with the finance committee, I think next month, if that's right, Ashley, give or take, and I don't think in the past that you guys actually approved this, but Jamie requested that we approve it, so.
It's a good idea, cause you get a shot at
Yeah,
a committee looking at a budget first, and if you disagree with
well,
it.
you should definitely look at it, yeah.
But the more eyes on a budget, the better.
So the next page is the state aid forestry one. On this, I threw in there. Let's see, put it on the wrong row. 30,000 should be one row up in the roads and trails. That's representing our $30,000 sustainable forestry grant that we already have approval of. So we're gonna spend that as well as take it in this year.
What do we, spend that on?
That's the grant that we got last year for Rigor Road, Excelsior Road, I think, and Moose here for some minor ditching and gravel in the worst spots.
Do we have to submit what our plan is to use the funds for a year ahead of time?
Right here.
Yeah, cause if we're gonna submit for the grant again.
So you're talking about later in the agenda, the application for that?
Yep.
I was planning on a different grant option. I don't know that we get the same grant again. I justified that through storm damage from that bad winter storm. Storm damage is a high priority in those grants. That's not an ongoing thing.
Okay.
So it's just 30,000 for this year. I mean, it is a 2-year grant, we could use it next year instead of this year, but we're planning on getting that done this year, because we need gravel on our county forest roads, as usual. and some ditch work on Weirwood Road. Almost all that work will be done by highway department. Which helps the county as well, keeping that money in the county budget. And then that 27, I think I explained that, it's lumped with that 17 from the front page to equal that annual budget of 42 to 45,000. Should be close to being spent at the end of this year. And then this is basically where I'd like that continuing appropriations for that budget line, Timberfield expense, because the expenses that we use is on aren't necessarily stable. That's why we don't carry forward on
Depends on how many sales you're marketing and everything else, or.
as well as other things we've used it for, storm damage cleanup, things like that. Again, we can touch on that later. Next page, county forest road aids. Our annual intake on that is pretty stable at about 8,115. There's some carry forward there.
Do we expect to spend less this year than we expected? Or we're expecting to spend less in 2025 than we're expecting in 2024?
Only reason because I'm budgeting 2024 to use up that carry forward. We already used some of it, that's not accounted for in here. It's helpful that we'll use it all up. If we don't, then hopefully it'll be carry forward and we can potentially use it next year. But that 20, where is it? 20,000, whatever it's at right now, must be about, I forget how this right works. That started out at $100,000 several years ago. The county board threw $100,000 in that account for us to do some major repair work on a problem that we had with DNR on a stream crossing. Not the one that you all remember, this is previous to that. On an ATV trail construction project, actually. Long story short, we've been milking that lump of money down and it's almost gone. At some point, we're gonna need more than our gas tax funding of $8,000 a year to maintain those roads. Some years we burn through more than $8,000 in a year just plowing snow for timber sales on those roads. And if you're talking about adding gravel or maintaining them, grading them, it's not very easy on $8,000 a year on 24-ish miles, but for now, I think we're okay, cause we do still have some of that carry forward. As well as that $30,000 grant. And I'll continue to look for grants to use that, so. Next page, land acquisition is just kind of a standard thing that goes along with timber sale revenue. 1% of the revenue goes into this account. There's some expenses on there that you see. Interestingly enough, the county pays property taxes on the land, on one of the life estates on the Hatch property acquisition, which is 69 acre, it's two parcels totaling about 69 acres. This guy has a life estate on it with us, and part of the agreement was that we pay the property tax, so. We pay property.
So he owns it, but we're allowed to.
We own it jointly. I don't think we can touch the timber till he dies, then it becomes ours. Then we'll have to utilize this account to destroy the buildings. To make it, and at that time, when it becomes ours and the buildings are gone, then we can enter the county forest law.
So that's what the expenses in 2024 were, was for the property tax.
Yeah.
That's Hatch Road.
Yeah.
So we really paid ourselves.
Yeah.
But then we had to split it with the state
pretty much treasurer's office. There are 2 life estates on that property. There's another smaller one that will acquire when those people are gone as well. To avoid getting down a rabbit hole, next page. So we probably print them on. County conservation aids. Standard yearly thing there is $2,500 to match a 50 grant we get for county conservation aids through the state. Those have been used for like boat landing, not boat landing. Well, yeah, boat landings.
Can you use it for, making swimming areas?
That might be. Maybe. We use them for rifle range improvements, hunter walking trail stuff. Invasive species control. It's a little strange because it's actually two projects we're hoping to get done this year. Last year's we didn't get done last year. Spring. Because of invasive control on garlic mustard. That's kind of because that is no spring.
That was one of the interesting things for the summer tour. Garlic mustard.
It's,
You know, it's just like,
I don't know what to do with it.
yeah, it sounds like nobody does.
Yeah. It's a losing battle. You wanna pound your head on a brick wall, try to control invasive species. Snowmobile budget. Nothing spectacular here, some grants are finishing up, some are still moving along. Then the maintenance is the annual maintenance for the trails. I don't know, any questions on that? Habitat on county forest, this is wildlife habitat. It's 5 cents an acre money that we get from the state, which is prorated down to four and change or something. Use that for mowing grass openings and hunter walking trails and mostly mowing as in skid steer type mowing.
Go back to the snowmobile budget.
Sure.
2024 appropriation was 1112. Request for 2025 is 60,616. The levy part, are we expecting less grants?
Which line are you looking at?
At the very bottom where it says the levy.
Oh. I don't know how that's calculated. It's kind of messy, the, expenditures equal the revenues, but their grant is on a fiscal year. So depending on when we spend it, if it's in December or January, it jumps to the next year.
So that's why there's probably a negative for spent on 2024.
Yeah, 104,000 must be.
Okay.
I mean, does that work as an explanation? But looking at the numbers, it's, I can't even remember where we're at on that stuff.
About as good of a guess.
Yeah, I mean, annually, we've just been budgeting what our annual, maintenance is, 98,000. At 37 in parentheses there on the 366 line. Guess I don't know what that means. is out there?
It's probably,
Is that related to the big storm?
that would not surprise me, it's probably the storm event.
Yeah. Which since it's an expenditure, that would mean we would have gotten money on that.
Right, so, but that's a 6 month, and then you see the 24 months because of how the grants hit. And we had a lot more in there because we went into supplemental and storm damage and crazy things that we weren't budgeted for.
23 actual revenue was 409,000. It-
23.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Expenditures is 411. So last year we ended with, I wanna say it was about 1,800 or something on the habitat money. Carried forward into this year, that's why that's higher than the usual 4158. Hopefully we can use that up. We struggled last year without having someone with the CDL, and we still don't, but hopefully we can get a little more out of the highway department on that front. And then to most of ATV trails. I think the highlighted ones are ones that can be deleted. The old projects and stuff. Annual maintenance is 38,700. That goes up for 2025, we learn the mileage. Our latest trail goes up from 2024. Trout maintenance remains the same at 3212. Insurance will keep the same, should be pretty close. ATV Bucks Lake Trail development. Mike's best guess is we might use 300,000 this year and the remainder of the grant next year. 330, 950. Weirwood Trail. I think we just budgeted for this year, 2024, 12 month, the remainder of what's in that grant. I don't believe we'll use that, but that's what we have to spend, so there is some more work to do on the, to finish up that new trail before it's open, including putting that bridge in.
If we're planning on using some of it in 2025, we should have something in there.
Well, we're not planning on using any of that one in 25.
So we plan on spending the whole amount in 2024?
Caveat that I doubt we'll spend it all.
What's that?
I doubt we'll spend it all, but I don't think then we'll be done with the trail this year.
Oh, okay, so there's nothing else?
We won't need it next year.
Got money there that goes back otherwise,
Well,
might as well use it when you got it.
yeah, I mean. The grant has been extended. So we do have the ability to use that in 2025. Just budgeting this way, that's why we don't have it done this year with that trail. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you want us to pull 50,000 and move it to 25.
I mean, if you're for sure not gonna use a certain part of it,
to Mike and see what he thinks the surplus would be, and try to throw that in 25. I also don't wanna cut it short in 24.
But the 2024 budget's already done.
Yeah.
So,
So it doesn't really
if we
matter.
spend it all in 2024, whether we expect to use it by the end of 24 or not at this point, we're still gonna have to do a budget amendment if it's over 233,648.
Okay, I'll take,
You know,
I'll take the
you know what I'm
difference.
saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'll take the difference and put that into 2025, so it'll be roughly,
And if it don't keep it from spending it this year, just,
roughly 50 grand.
yeah, just, put it in there in case we don't, 'cause either way, we're either doing a budget amendment this year or next year.
How do you got a calculator?
Yeah.
It's got everything, calculator, timer.
I guess we should probably do it. Yeah, unless you just wanna move on, and we'll do that when we get back. 286,091.34 minus 233,648.
$52,443.34.
0.34
0.34, yeah.
into department request for 2025 on the 817 row. Revenues gets really messy because we got our advance payment of 75%. 75% of the original grant amount, and we got a grant increase.
For the Weeder Road one,
Yeah,
is that, so we didn't receive that, and we'll receive that in 2025?
Yep.
Okay.
yeah,
That's
that'll
for
be the remainder.
it's for reimbursement.
Yep. And the thought there was even if we get the work done this year, by the time we go through the process and get the reimbursement, it'll qualify.
Close that grant out, I'll have to double check with the association. just
Oh,
see
yeah.
if there's any, when we got the pennies in our pockets, we might as well,
Mike works real close with George, I know. Those guys on all that.
I'm sure George finds ways to spend money.
I believe the state audits every expense of the grant,
Well,
so we can't like spend it out for,
right, right.
yes.
But if there's anything on, it can be used for, you might as well think of everything. that
Well,
you-
like a little more gravel.
We are planning on some more gravel and some more ditching in a couple spots.
The north half definitely needs work. The north half of the road.
Yep, Mike's got a plan for that, he was engineering
Right.
that today. Are there any more questions on that page? Gravel crushing, I don't think we're gonna utilize this anymore this year or next year. Well, now that you're saying those things, maybe we should put the full amount into 2025, just to let it, full amount for that carry forward, 29701. this to front the money for crushing. And then with the grant, as we haul stuff, we backfill this account off the grant to pay the crushing. Does that make sense? The current project, we don't have, we don't believe we have a need for this because I would think crush. We'll be paying them out of the grant for the crushing as we use it. We'll go back into their gravel crushing. Carbon credits. Revenues, I had 12 million in there until I realized that you guys were gonna approve this. We'll leave it at zeros.
So what's, one balance?
I'll have to look into that. I was wondering,
Is that a negative? Or that's, it's just their relative?
well, they're in parentheses. So we must have a negative balance of 8,774 something, I don't know what. Do you know, Ashley?
Heidi, sorry to bother you again, can you bring that budget up?
It's not like there's a account number. It's not very much money balance.
Yeah, or full calendar years. Yeah, I would need Jamie's software to look at this. Were there startup costs, do you remember?
Maybe that's the lawyer fees from the outside firm that we hired. I don't know, what you guys got.
So Jared and I have asked several times for a settlement statement from them, and we have yet to receive it, so.
Let's invite them to the next, forestry committee meeting. To have this conversation, seeing as they're not willing to provide it to you and Jared, maybe they'll be more motivated to provide it to the committee. Because at this point, the fact that we are getting nothing from them and nothing's happening with it, I have some questions that I would like to ask directly of them. And rather than it having to be you or Jared be the middle person on this one, I think it would be good for them to stand here and answer for themselves.
Problem is that they won't be here if they live in California.
Well, they
They can come on the conference center.
They can be here right
Sure.
there then. But they can answer some questions because it's time we get some answers.
It's been the talk since I've been on the board. Yeah, if we can get that on the agenda,
Or reach out and see if they're available at this meeting date sometime.
with us or something.
Next page. Parks and Recreation. Lights, baby. So that's remaining the same. I guess all of it, except for the wages. I did lower the campground revenue a little bit. Just based on percentages of where we were at halfway through last year and where we ended. Similar percentage this year, what's us at 83.5? So this is a little bit down this year compared to last year. Still strong though, I'd say. the 6 month in 23, figured out what percentage of the total that was. I'm gonna use the same number for the 6 month of 2024.
And we were less.
Yeah, 23 actual was 92.5, anticipating 83.5. I don't want to trend, but I put 80,000 for 2025 just because.
When it comes to revenues, it's better to budget less.
That's what I figured there.
Don't have too many chickens.
I don't remember what we budgeted for 2023 for revenue, but I know we exceeded it by a fair bit. So I think we bumped that up to that 90 mark.
Probably based on the actual.
Yep. Parks Development Fund. So with you, got some notes on the bottom there. The grant that we applied for, even though we don't have it yet, Jamie suggested I throw it in there so that it's in there. The total 5/4 is 39,928. That's the total grant project. 29 roughly would be the grant amount that we'll receive. 29,946. And then 9 something would be our portion. So the 47,928 that you see is that project plus the 8,000. No,
That's with
yeah.
the Murphy Campground and the.
Correct. The Josie paving area.
Campground and the paving.
Right where we're paving. Through the 10,000 on this year for the back area of Josie Creek campsites. I don't know that we'll have time to deal with that this year. That is in the CIP for 2026. But we have the money in our budget for it. If it stops raining and stops growing grass, we might be able to do a project.
The DNR on that, huh?
Can you stop the rain? Gone. Thank you, State.
That's all you gotta do is ask, Jared.
Boat landing repairs, annually 10,000. Added an additional 10. The CIP plan of 2 dock replacements. And those will be 50% cost share grants with RBF grants, which is recreational boating facilities. Or fund or whatever.
Those 2 projects projected to be.
Where?
Yeah.
Talked to Mike a little bit on that, and he thinks maybe this one and maybe that one and maybe the other one. Depends on which docks are in clear. We got a few docks that are in rough shape, and some can be repaired and some should be replaced, so we'll see. Potentially, we maybe have highway department do some of them repairs in the winter when they're slow, we talked about, but.
As long as it's not snowing.
Right. That's key.
It's all been pulled out and all this is left in too.
Yeah, a lot of them, the last several years, we've been going with removable ones.
Yeah, the one we like, it gets left in that one's still floating, but it's just getting old.
Yeah, and that one doesn't see a lot of ice action because it's a smaller lake.
Yeah.
It's the nature of that lake. Yeah, someone drove onto one of the aluminum ones last week, so.
Backing up a boat.
We didn't have a camera there, you know. They put a nice hole in it though. Alex repaired it. Alex is a good kid. Works hard and keeps the interns in line. Next page, trail and park development. Got through 48.7 this year and 14 for next year. Those are shots in the dark. What we'll utilize that for. You guys would like me to budget for filling a parks assistant position for 2025 and going forward? We can add that in there. For ever increasing workload.
I thought that's what we're using the carbon credit money for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last month you told me to take it out of the carbon credit.
Wow. But then my faith in us getting the carbon credit money is pretty slim.
Not so much junk. Yeah. Gentle nudge.
Okay, any questions on the budget?
Was that an all position?
I don't think anybody's making that motion.
I'll just wait to hear what the motion is.
Okay, any questions for Jared on the budget?
I think you all know that this goes through here, then it goes to finance. So
Right.
it has to be approved in finance, and then it goes to the full.
Are you looking for a motion to forward to the finance?
I guess so.
Okay, motion by Alec,
Second.
second by Phil, for the budget with the, I think we may want an adjustment or something on there.
Yep.
Finance, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. And equipment request.
Trailer that we have. You guys have the same packet as I do, the top page is the estimate. Highway department for repairing that trailer.
That's a repair for the trailer.
Yep. This trailer has been here longer than I have, so it's at least 14 years old. And then I got a quote from Johnson Trailer. $425.10. The trailers are all the same size, which is the same size as our other trailer, which is a little bigger than the broke down. More usable size. The first one from Johnson Trailer is,
What are you mostly using this trailer for?
is this for,
Transporting ATVs or?
yeah, UTV mower. So the interns pretty much keep one, one large one like this tied up all summer with mowing. Sometimes they'll use the other one as well if they split up and one or two go to do the boat landings, or else if we're moving the UTV, forestry work, use a trailer for that.
So are you asking to repair one and?
No.
Or one or the other?
I think this repair estimate sends that trailer right to the auction block, and I'd like to replace it with one of these three options. So the difference on the two from each trailer is the axle weight. Where is that? 5,200 pound axle and a 3,500 pound axle. I'd like to get a 5,200 pound axle, so it's a little bit heavier duty of the trailer. As you can see, that costs a little more money. The reason I got the 3,500 pound axle estimate from Pete's is because Johnson Trailer does not have a heavier axle option in that size trailer. So the comparable trailers are 2510 and 2850. They're not quite the same, they're the same size, different type of tailgate. 14 by 83.
Size is the same if you're,
Side loader, communicate.
the weight is not the same.
Are these options on the one requested for the second one as well, or is it just either or?
The options on,
They don't have a heavier one from Johnson, heavier axle.
So I've been at the,
so all the options listed, we'll need a spare tire, I think that's a must.
Yep.
All the rest of those options, we don't need those, in all honesty. But yes, those are available for the last page trailer as well. Same trailer, but different axle.
overkill axle and underweight, then underkill on the axle.
So the side load on that trailer, is it the ramps or is it the pull down gate?
It's those, just it's not a fold down, it's just the ramps that fit.
Yeah, the removable ramps, yeah.
And honestly, we don't use that feature ever, but they just come with it.
Yeah, I have this trailer.
I think, Pete told me that there's a duff, or not a duff, we call it a retail shop, option, there's no additional cost for that. That is how our other trailers works well for those long ones.
Yeah, it's for low clearance.
Yeah.
I think Alex right, there's another $525 extra to get something that's. Rather than to find out after the fact that we're undersized.
And if it's the same price for the dovetail, I recommend they get the dovetail option. Don't,
And the $175 spare.
well, yeah, you need a spare tire.
Yeah.
And what budget were you looking at? The forestry equipment. Or the parts equipment.
Either way, you guys have to cover it.
Yep. So. I'll have to fight with Mike about taking it out of the parks. Really, parks use them more, but we need them for both purposes.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion for the trailer,
The 3375
$575 with the spare tire.
spare tire,
And the dovetail.
And dovetail.
and it's just a difference. Okay,
I'll second that.
motion by Alex, second by Stacy,
Which one are you ordering then?
the 3375 one,
Okay,
the
yeah.
spare tire.
Yeah.
If dovetail is more, I'll just get the flat package.
Yes.
It's nice with it.
But if it's not anymore, you might as well pick that one up.
Yeah, on the phone he said it's the same, so hopefully.
Okay, any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Sustainable forestry grant application approval.
If we wanna apply for a sustainable forestry grant, we need a motion approving an application.
Do we need a resolution for that?
We do not need a resolution, just a motion approved by the forestry committee. So the one we're sitting on right now from last year, 30,000 for the road repairs. I'll just read a little bit here. First preference goes to storm-related projects and hiring of temporary staff to address short-term workload projects. Second preference, infrastructure, road improvements to access summer or fall timber sales, invasive species, inventories, drone for recon, timber maps, and all other eligible projects. Within preference category, projects in counties that have received grants the most recently, they'll be given the lowest priority. County may have no more than 2 projects open at a time. If we have 1 project open, we're eligible, but will be a low priority. It all depends on how many counties apply for how much money. There's a cap on the dollar amount. I don't know if that is statewide, but I think it's wise to apply, even though I don't really think we'll get one.
You don't get any money that you don't ask for.
I think we failed to receive one in the previous application, and we got the last year, the last one. We could use a new drone, although our drone works. The newer ones have a lot better flight time, as well as all the upgrades with cameras. That is just unbelievable. Another option is County Forest Road construction project for the new County Forest Road off Jew Creek Road. We asked for this as an ARPA request last year. Just throw this around for you guys to glance at if you're interested in that. Be a $200,000 ask. We failed to sell the timber sale on the map. I believe partially because it's tough access. It's definitely winter access for that timber sale. If we could get a road in there or close to it, it may help sell that sale. Another idea that I like would be maybe like a 6-month LTE for next summer. Help with things rather than hiring a parks assistant. Well, you have to start from scratch and figure out what to pay them and all that out. Or a drone. Upgrade drone.
What do you use a drone for currently?
Fresh air photo.
Like selling sales?
For selling? Not really. See what's done, get a percentage on what's done on some sales, or for, getting a better idea of where the timber is out there, how it lies, where the wetlands are. Or not invasive, disease stuff, we can search for oak wilt. I'm hoping to get a flag from the DNR this year on oak wilt. Paul Segan goes up, he's a disease specialist with the state.
You talked to him about it?
I did a little while back, but
Sooner the better.
he'll put a point on a map for us of where he thinks there's an oak wilt infestation. And then we can pop the drone up, go near it, pop the drone up and fly over and buzz right in at the tree and get a really good shot, rather than spending a whole day walking in at one point. We can cover a lot more time. Then walk in there if we think we need to, or just write it off as a dead tree or whatever. We don't use it a lot.
What do you do for oak wilt?
With a positive oak wilt, you would treat that point with a few different options. If it's 1 or 2 oak wilt infections in an area, you there's a calculation or a distance you wanna go from the dead or dying trees, and you girdle to kill all the oaks within a distance, say roughly maybe, it's been a few years, but maybe about 50 to 100 feet away.
So you
And
basically.
spray chemical in the girdle cut to kill the tree, which stops that underground spread between the roots.
So the only thing you can basically do is just kill the trees that have it.
Kill the trees.
And anything.
Kill the trees that are gonna get next through the roots. There's other options of trenching or ripping out the stumps. The girdle and spray is the cheapest by far.
So if we apply for this, we gotta apply for a specific project.
For the drone?
Or for the, sustainable grant.
Yeah.
We can't just apply for it to use for one of the listed projects.
Yeah, no, we
gotta be
specifics,
specific.
and you'll have cost estimates and stuff like that to do the application.
That's how they prioritize it, they'll look at each individual submission and then prioritize based on what they're looking, what the ask is.
So of all the things you just said, which one's your priority?
County Forest Road, off Tree Creek Road. We already have timberments, and that was listed on their stuff, but we don't need more of those.
Got a motion, Stacy?
I don't know,
Asking.
I'll be honest, I don't think we'll get it,
Mr. Chairman.
It's not this round, but we could apply. It's pretty easy to apply.
Okay.
You got any thoughts, Pat? Or better ideas?
Just depends on what everyone else is asking for. If there's not a lot of requests, then obviously that makes your chances a little bit higher, so I'd say ask for what you want.
If that's what you think is your biggest priority.
I mean, that block,
That might as well be what we apply for.
the block over there is our most difficult block for getting access into. There's no access. There's so many wetlands over there, there's not a good road or trail or anything into that block. You could build a road that would get everybody in there.
I do know Sawyer County's planning for a road project also, so
I do not know that, but I do know.
Have they gotten a grant recently?
I don't know when the last one so yeah, I don't know when they got their last one. They're bringing a pretty good sized road project also.
Roads are valuable.
Okay, does anybody care to make a motion to apply for the sustainable forestry grant?
So,
And, you're talking about applying for, specifically for the trail? Okay. Second by Alec, any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the resolution for the continuing appropriation request. And that's for, where we used to take a loan.
Yeah, when it was a loan, it was, mandated from the state for certain purposes, which handcuffs us a little bit. So I agree that it's good to just get around that and
Anytime we don't have to take a loan, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's good not to take loans.
plug your own money, but what I liked about the loan was that it was required to be a carry forward account, so if we don't use it all up this year, we still have it available. For paint purchases, that's the biggest thing we use it for is marking paint. Storm damage cleanup, use it for as well. Other equipment, stuff related to forest management. Basically, I don't think I printed that, but anything related to
If you
forest
look-
management.
If you looked at a history of past budgets, it's kind of all over on how much to spend is per year.
Yep. That's why I'm hoping to get this approved. If you don't want to, then a lot of people not come up short some years.
Wouldn't have a bad idea in a budget rather than all of a sudden in the next couple of years Zimmer, the appropriation resolution. Do we have a second? Second by Phil. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries.
And Mr. Chair, this would need to go to finance as well.
The motion is to
Forward to finance.
forward to finance. Okay, out of county travel, we're going a couple places it looks like.
Yep, thanks for forwarding that. Woodruff for the certification audit opening meeting and closing meeting. This is the Monday and the Friday of the audit.
They do the audit in our county and then they go up there to.
Yeah, so with the 4 or 5 counties, the auditors are
That's where everybody's.
centering in Woodruff. So that opening meeting on Monday, and then they'll do the audits in all the counties that would be here on Wednesday. And then a closing meeting on Friday. Move approval.
Okay, motion by, Phil. Second by Alan, to approve the out-of-county travel. Any discussion? Not all those in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Review and approve bills. Any questions on the bills? No questions on the bills, and, motion to approve the bills being ordered. Motion by Alan,
Second.
second by Phil to approve the bills. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Carries.
Could I ask George how they're coming with that building up there in the Woodland? Here, quick.
The carpenter, said that he was gonna start August 5th, but you know what carpenters can be. We decided that, the door would be bought from Tony Lumber. Their bid was, lower than Cumberland Lambert's, which the builder preferred, but we told him to go ahead with Tony Lumber bid. We're going to, get that built. We're gonna, pour a small pad for a memorial bench. We're gonna buy a porta potty and anchor it, not put a cement pad under it. And, set the charcoal grill in concrete. Those things outside of the pavilion, we decided to wait until the pavilion's out, so that they're not in the way for building, so. I'm sure when it's done, we can get some pictures to show.
Good.
Three part of the concrete floor for the building.
We talked about that, we could always do that if we feel the need later. I mean, it's on the wish list if necessary. The members of the club seem to think it wasn't necessary. Cause the posts have these anchors that, I don't know how to explain those, what they call those. They screw into the ground or whatever, that's what the posts sit on, so they're not in the ground.
Some of the ones they use for staking out a horse in the middle of the field type of thing, that's
Oh,
what.
no, it's, requires a jackhammer and everything else to drive these anchors in, it's like they go at an angle.
Well, I think that was the other day, yeah.
I forget what they're called. But, yeah,
Post anchors, they use their galvanized rod or stuff like that. I think too.
Porta potty anchors.
Yeah, if you get pictures when it's completed, you give them a ID or something. Okay, next meeting date? August 20th, your Zoom again? Be the first Tuesday.
You know how Brent Fagerlin sent his letter? Do you have contact information or anything?
I got it from Connie, so what you see is all I have.
Okay. I'll see if Connie has anything we want or, otherwise, does anybody know him? Was it Brent Fagerlin for
Are you
the
ad hoc
Trails
member?
Committee that like?
Well, that came in an email, right?
What you see is what I